Good evening, everybody. This is our first rally, Tanjong Pagar. Special. That's why I think the mood is high. That's why I'm here. So let me start in Bahasa Kebangsaan, our national language, Malay. Saudara-saudari sekalian, khususnya saudara-saudari yang diam di Tanjung Pagar. Selamat petang. Saya pilih untuk mulakan kempen pilihan raya saya yang pertama di GRC Tanjung Pagar. Kenapa? Sebabnya inilah tempatnya Encik Lee Kuan Yew bermula pada tahun 55. 60 tahun dahulu. Anda telah memberi Encik Lee sokongan penuh anda selama 6 dekad ini. Dan selama itu, Encik Lee pula berjuang untuk anda. Encik Lee sentiasa berterima kasih kepada penduduk Tanjung Pagar. Dia tidak lagi bersama kita dalam pilihan raya ini, tetapi semangat beliau terus membara dalam diri kita dan dalam parti kita, Parti Tindakan Rakyat, PAP. Encik Lee memilih untuk jadi anggota Parlimen Tanjung Pagar kerana semangatnya yang kuat mau menolong pekerja dan penduduk miskin yang ramai di sini ketika itu. Ini termasuk masyarakat Bawian yang tinggal di pondok-pondok lama ya, di Blair Road, di Everton Road, di Spottiswoode Park, di Duxton Hill. Mereka itu adalah golongan pekerja bergaji rendah, pemandu, kelasi, nelayan dan sebagainya. Encik Lee dan pasukannya berjanji untuk memperbaiki mutu hidup mereka dan keluarga mereka. Kami telah kotakan janji-janji kami. Lihat di sekeliling anda. Kawasan unit Tanjung Pagar hari ini sangat indah dengan kemudahan yang baik, sekitaran yang selesa dan selamat. Hari ini ramai anak-anak Bawian di Tanjung Pagar, dari Tanjung Pagar, yang berjaya dalam kehidupan masing-masing dan memegang pelbagai jawatan profesional. Mereka juga menikmati mutu hidup antara yang terbaik di Asia. Kisah kejayaan masyarakat Bawian Tanjung Pagar ini juga adalah kisah kejayaan orang Melayu di Singapura dan juga kisah kejayaan kaum-kaum lain di Singapura. Daripada kawasan Paya, pemerintah PAP telah mentransformasikan seluruh negara, menjadikan Singapura sebuah metropolis berbilang bangsa yang indah, harmoni, maju dan disegani dunia. Saya berjanji bahawa PAP akan terus menjalankan amanah kami kepada penduduk Tanjung Pagar serta semua rakyat Singapura dengan baik. Untuk terus berjaya, kita perlukan pasukan pemimpin berbilang bangsa yang cekap, jujur dan amanah, yang bersemangat untuk memperjuangkan kepentingan rakyat seperti Encik Lee dan pasukannya. Undi anda penting kerana ia bakal menentukan masa depan kita semua. Sokonglah saya dan pasukan PAP saya supaya kami dapat terus memimpin Singapura dan menjadikan 50 tahun yang akan datang lebih baik dari 50 tahun yang lalu. Sokonglah kami, undilah PAP. PAP sentiasa bersama anda, untuk anda dan demi Singapura. Terima kasih. 各位居民、各位同胞，大家晚上好！非常高兴，今晚我们行动党这一届大选第一次群众大会，在丹戎巴葛集选区和拉丁马市单选区举行。因为这个选区丹戎巴葛和拉丁马市对行动党对新加坡意义 重大。60年前，李光耀先生第一次竞选立法委员，不是国会议员，立法委员，因为新加坡还没有独立，他就选择了丹戎8个选区。为什么呢？因为他解释，他说丹戎8个是平民居住的地方，贫穷人民居住的地方，没有钱人住的，是贫民窟，人民的生活很辛苦，没有屋子住，没有工作做，有些甚至没有衣服穿，当然没有机会读书升学，所以他要代表他们，为他们争取一个更美好的未来，为他们创造一个更成功的、更繁荣发达的新加坡。这个是60年前的事了。今天60年后，大家看看周围今天的丹戎8个，跟以前完全改变了。国庆日群众大会，我提到达士岭，跟大家分享了一张旧的幻灯片，达士岭的旧的建屋居主2座租的房子，2房室1房室的房子，那2座房子意义重大，因为1959年当我们自治之后，李光耀先生变成总理了，他对人民做一个承诺，他说我会盖房子让大家有房子住，所以讲何容易，做才算真的是好汉。所以这2座房子就是他能够把事情做好，能够对人民交代的一个具体的现实的表现。所以到下一次选举，那个是63年了，4年之后，那个屋子已经开始起来了，大家可以看到人民行动党真的是为人民行动了。所以从那时开始一直到现在，我们还是继续为人民行动，因此有了今天的新加坡。Radin Mas 这里附近就是河水山，河水山以前也是甘崩区，也是贫民窟。我太太以前屋子住在对面 SIT 的屋子，她告诉我，她小孩子的时候，经常看到母猪过马路，跟着是一只只的小猪跟着母猪，小孩子也跟着母猪、小猪去看看凑热闹。今天的新加坡根本没有办法想象那时候的新加坡。今天的 Radin Mas， 今天的丹戎8个完全改变了。今天的达士岭变成了 Pinnacle， 有些一个组卖了不少钱。为什么我们能够有这样的成功呢？因为行动党跟人民密切合作，互信、互惠，大家能够在一起把新加坡办好，为大家的孩子创造一个更美好的未来。当然，这个不只是物质的问题，这个不只是城市重建的问题，这个也是建设一个新社会、新国家的重要的努力。我们做了很多，我们也讲了很多，所以我今晚不打算样样都讲，因为样样都讲，样样都讲不完。所以我只要选2件东西跟大家分享一下，一个是住屋的问题，一个是医药的问题，并且是针对性的，对丹戎8个来讲。为什么选这个2个问题呢？因为在新加坡很多人都说生活费很高啊，政府帮帮我们吧。是的，大家觉得负担重。那如果分析一下，为什么大家有这个感觉呢？我看一个重要的因素是因为大家正在考虑比较重大的开销，其中一个是住房的开销，买屋子，另外一个是医药费的开销，因为大家担心 自己医药费不够，尤其是老了之后医药费不够，或者父母亲老了之后要养年迈的父母亲，要怎么办？负担很重。所以政府这方面做了什么呢？住方面，我们其实做了很多。如果我问问大家，在新加坡谁是在建屋局住的，并且是拥有自己主屋的，请举手。我想全场都举手了，是不是？谁是拥有主屋的，自己的屋子，是屋主，是自己的人，请举手看看。我看没有另外一个国家可以做到这一点，但是我们还是不满意，所以我们还是继续改善完善我们的建屋政策。所以今年的群众大会，我就宣布了一些细节的调整，并且结构性的改变，帮助国人购买主屋。高收入的那个收入顶线提高了，HDB 从1万到1万2，EC 就是公管公寓从1万2到1万4，所以大家觉得是夹心层的，那个心可能现在夹的没有那么窄了，比较有机会了。我相信大家比较有选择。但是我们不只是注重高收入的家庭，我们也注重低收入的家庭，例如买2房式的家庭，或者甚至2房式都可能不容易买到的家庭。所以我们增加了我们针对性的津贴，使低收入的家庭能够得到更多的收入，买房子的时候负担更轻。所以现在哪一个2房式主屋来说，市价可能是11000，是很值钱的东西。但是如果你是低收入家庭，收入不超过1000元，向建屋局买这样的一个房子，你猜猜看，价钱是多少？扣去折扣，扣去津贴，那净价钱，你想想是多少？还是太高了，还是太高了，只是30千罢了。刚才陈正生部长讲了一两句福建话，说我应该也讲一句，至少一句，无亚不亚。我说是无亚，有这回事。我怎么知道有这回事呢？因为过去4年已经有1800个这样的低收入家庭买到了2房式主屋了，所以是真的，有真人真事，说得到做得到。这个是行动党一贯来的施政方针，我们的基本原则。第二，谈谈医药费。医药费我们有各种各样的计划，一个是建国一代配套，帮助老人家有那张红白卡，去医院可以有很深的折扣。如果去外科，尤其是专科，包括专科外科或者是牙科医生，要看病或者要把牙齿弄好，也有很高的津贴。我看有了这张红白卡，很多建国一代的国民都安心多了。我们还有 Trust 卡，年轻一点的还没有到建国一代等级的，就是像我这样的年龄，或者大家也有一些还没有到65岁羡慕老人家的，将要老的人家，你们也有蓝卡，也有橙色的卡，所以看医生、诊病也有津贴，这些都是我们做的事情。我们的设施也改善了。你看丹东8个集选区哪一间医院最出名？当然是中央医院。以前我们叫做4排波 （4 line）， 是不是？所以我这一代年龄的人记得的是老的4排波，老的建筑，一栋栋低的2层楼的屋子，里面的病房 也是很基本的设施。所以，当老的四排坡变成现在的中央医院的时候，我们都觉得这个是一个大跃进，改变很多了。但是这个是我这年代人记得的事情，想想看，到底是什么时候发生的大跃进？也是1981年，30几年前的事情了。当然，这30几年，中央医院继续改善，继续提升，但是基本上还是30几年前那个主要的规划、主要的总蓝图。所以我们现在有计划把整个中央医院逐步的重建，并且要在运作中重建，不能够关下来重建了10年，然后重新开放。因为这10年里，大家会老、会病、会需要看医生、会需要动手术，所以运作中要改变很不容易。我问医生怎么做，他说从巴士车站做起。为什么呢？因为把巴士车站，尤其是停车场，移到另外一个角落，腾出那个地方，可以先建一栋新楼，那么其他设施可以搬进去，那么其他设施可以拆、可以搬，一步一步的，可能是15年或者20年的计划，我们会有一个更完善的、更理想的中央医院。依旧是中央医院，不过依旧是在丹戎巴葛的中央医院。所以当然，第一个受惠者就是丹戎巴葛的选民和 Radin Mas 的选民了。所以这些是我们说得到、做得到的事情。好像陈部长刚才说的，要有诚信，要能干，要办事，要为人民着想，从人民做起，这样我们才有一个更美好的新加坡。有些人提出一个我觉得是很奇怪的理论，理论是这样：政府做得好，不是政府的好心肠，是我们强迫政府做的。所以，如果我们不投政府的票，政府可能更害怕，可能做得更好。我看这个是很奥妙的理论，很不合逻辑的想法。政府做不好，人民投反对票，完全可以理解。政府受到讯息，努力改善，希望争取人民的支持。政府做得好，人民投反对党，政府糊涂了。怎么样解读呢？是什么意义呢？是做得不够好呢，还是做错呢？或者应该要回去原来的以前的情况呢？要怎么样交代？要怎么样建立默契互信？这个都是无法回答的、无法解决的一个很不建设性的困难。所以我们的做法，新加坡一贯的成功的秘诀，就是政府如果做得好的话，人民给予政府支持；如果你信任政府的话，就请让政府为人民办事，彼此之间可以合作，可以互信，可以有互利、互相、互补、互成的一个作用。这样，新加坡会继续不断的向前走，会继续不断的向前进。很少国家做得到这样的事情，所以分析家说，新加坡是一种麒麟呢。什么是麒麟呢？麒麟是一种很独特的、有幽灵的一种野兽，世界上只有一只，英文叫做 unicorn， 所以很漂亮，很成功，但是它是神秘的，没有另外一只麒麟在世界上存在。其实没有另外一个新加坡在世界上存在。如果我们把这个新加坡弄坏了、打垮了，我看没有一个新加坡会在世界上任何一个角落再存在了，完了，不能够再恢复以前的情况了。所以我看我们要走的是向上的方向， 要找的是解决问题的方法，要做的是对我们有建设性、有益的事。什么是有益的事？什么是向前的方向？答案很简单，只要穿白衣的，对人民负责任，为人民做事情，那请投穿白衣的人，请投人民行动党一票。所以，我们这一次竞选的口号“你我同心，为国为民”，希望大家多多支持，谢谢各位。OK， 换软件，用英语讲话。等一等。Friends and residents of Tanjong Pagar GRC and Radin Mas SMC, we are having our rally today in Tanjong Pagar. In fact, it's Radin Mas, but Radin Mas and Tanjong Pagar work very closely together. And why did we choose this? Because this is a special place. It's where Mr. Lee Kuan Yew first stood as a candidate in 1955 to be elected to the Legislative Assembly, to become a legislative assemblyman. And he won in 1955. And he contested this many times, often fiercely, after that. And the residents, the voters, supported him time and time again. Until he passed away this year, 60 years continuous service representing the same constituency. I think that is a Singapore record which is going to be there for a very long time to come. He was able to do this because he had the support of the people, and particularly of the people of the pioneer generation, who worked with him, who trusted him and his team, who showed him and showed themselves what Singapore could do and what they could do, and built Singapore that we have today. And that's why we have the Pioneer Generation Package, to thank them, to express our respect for them, to show them that we honor them and will remember them forever as the pioneer generation which built Singapore. And today, look around you. If you find somebody who looks like the pioneer generation, thank him and give him your respects and your compliments. Thank you very much. I'm looking around on stage, and Cik Side is one. But I think the others don't qualify yet. So, because of how we have come here, 50 years, a special journey, 50 years, a turning point, 50 years, a new beginning. So, this year, after the NDP, after the NDR, I called elections. At this point, we are changing direction. Singapore is changing direction. I'm asking you for your mandate, for your support, for your vote, to entrust me and my team, actually me and our people who is your team, to take Singapore forward in a new direction, onwards and upwards. Tanjong Pagar has changed. When Mr. Lee came here, why did he come here? Because it was a very poor place. Slums, unemployed people, laborers, coolies, dock workers, people who had no quality of life and no hope for the future. And he wanted to give them a better life and a better future. And he did. And you can see it today in Tanjong Pagar, in Bukit Ho Si, which has now become Delta, in all the ways in which Tanjong Pagar has changed. Duxton Plain to Pinnacle. Queenstown today, with new flats coming up, with Dawson, one of the most beautiful precincts in Singapore. As good as many, many private developments and condominiums. So from a slum, from the place where people had no hope and no homes to live, and lived shared beds, shared clothes, sometimes even shared trousers, to today, where Tanjong Pagar is one of the most desirable places to live. That is quite a journey, and I'm very happy that many of you have come along with us on this journey. But we are going to continue to develop Tanjong Pagar, because we are not done building Tanjong Pagar, and we never will be. So, what are we doing in the long term? I give you one big thing which is going to happen in Tanjong Pagar, the southern waterfront city. Tanjong Pagar has been port, right? The Harbour Board was here, the PSA is here, the Tanjong Pagar docks are here, now the Tanjong Pagar container terminal is here. But from the year 2027, that means 12 years from now, the port is going to start to move to Tuas. Not all overnight gone, but slowly, step by step, we are building a new giant port in Tuas, and this one will go from Tanjong Pagar to Tuas. Pasir Panjang also to Tuas. Pulau Brani also to Tuas. And Pulau Brani, Tanjong Pagar, Pasir Panjang, we will have a big area, 3 times the size of Marina Bay. And we will build something 3 times as beautiful as Marina Bay. And it is not just hotels and parks. There will be, of course, but also homes and offices and places for Singaporeans to work and to live and to play. Green, beautiful, high quality of life shows what Singapore can be. We have space, we have ideas, we can make that happen in Tanjong Pagar. So what we are doing in Tanjong Pagar, we will have similar things all over Singapore. Changi is going to be a big development. Changi Airport, T4, T5 coming. T4 coming up, T5 already starting to plan and to work. Another 20-year project. When Changi develops, Paya Lebar Airport, Air Base will go to Changi. Paya Lebar will be a big development. That's another 30, 40-year development project. Jurong Lake District. You saw the pictures I put up a year ago. Slowly, we are starting to make it happen. We're already going to acquire the land. We will build a high-speed train terminal in Jurong East, so that you not only can live in a good place in Jurong, you want to go to Kuala Lumpur to eat ampang hor fun, have lunch, come back, also can. So, we are going to make Singapore different. But to do that, we have to do it together. And therefore, I ask you for your support to vote for us and vote for our ideas. At the same time, we are not just looking at buildings, at infrastructure, at the trees and the grass. We are also taking care of the people, your aspirations, your hopes, your dreams, your concerns. And one of the concerns which Singaporeans have, many Singaporeans have, they always tell me this, is cost of living, 生活费. So I asked, what is cost of living? And I try to understand what people are concerned about when they talk about cost of living. Some of it is big things. They are concerned about cost of houses, cost of medical care, maybe cost of transport, possibly cost of car, if you can buy a car, which many people can, cost of medical care. It could also be lifestyle things, because people eat out instead of cooking at home, because people travel more than they used to, and every year, several million Singaporeans go overseas. Not all go to Batam. They go many places. Malaysia, Phuket, Hong Kong, Vietnam, China. Every year, 1 million Singaporeans go to China. It's amazing. So these cost money. But the big things which cost money, housing, medical care, transportation, education, these especially, the government is able to help you. And on housing, I would like to say we have gone a long way to help every Singaporean own a home, to make this a home-owning country. And even then, we are continuing to improve our schemes. For example, the household income limit to buy an HDB flat. A lot of people, or from time to time at MPS, I got people come to see me, young couples who say, I want to buy HDB flat, but I don't qualify because they earn more than the income ceiling. Income ceiling HDB flat, 10,000. EC, 12,000. So I said, well, if you're earning more than that, maybe you can wait a little bit or buy on the resale market, or you can go private. They said private, a little bit expensive, but HDB I would like to have. So I think it's a reasonable request, and as you know, we are pushing up the income limit. HDB from 10K, we go to 12K, and EC 12K to 14K. So I think more people will be able to qualify to buy HDB and EC, which I think will be helpful to you. At the same time, we also don't neglect the poor, the lower income. We also want to help the lower income to buy a flat. And in fact, in Singapore, we've helped many low-income people to buy flats, but not all. And there are some who still can't afford a two-room flat, and there are some who have bought a flat, and then they ran into some trouble because of their family problems, and then they have had to give up the flat, sell off, and they're back in rentals again. And it can be tough for them. So what can we do? I think there are two things which we have done. One, we have restructured, or maybe more than two things. One group is we've restructured the two-room flat scheme so that between the two-room flat and the studio apartments, we now have one scheme, and you can have shorter leases, and people can buy a two-room flat with more subsidies because we've also increased the subsidies for when you buy a flat and you're poor. So as I explained in Chinese just now, if you are a low-income household and you're buying a two-room flat, the net price is only $30,000. And many families have actually bought flats, 2 rooms, and been able to afford it. So when we say, and as I explained, in the last 4 years, 1,800 families have bought 2-room flats who are earning less than $1,000 a month. So when I say we have made housing more affordable to help people with the cost of living, I'm telling the truth. On healthcare also, which is a big item which worries people, we have done a lot of work because we know that people are growing old, we know that old people worry about these things, and understandably, and I think the children also worry about these things. And therefore, we have the PG package because that focuses on healthcare. Therefore, we have got new schemes like MediShield Life and the CHAS card, the blue and the orange card, so that you don't have to worry. Therefore, we are building more hospitals, more community hospitals, so that when you need medical treatment, you can go in. You heard Dr. Chia Shi Lu just now explain to you how in other countries, healthcare is free, but it's free up to a point, and they say, sorry, no more ticket this week, or this month, or this year, come back next year. Even if you are very sick, even if you have cancer. Next year, 走了咯. But in Singapore, I think we try our best to make a system which everybody can get the treatment they need. You have to pay some, but if you need the treatment, you can get the treatment. And that is our promise to you. And SGH, the old Sepoy Lines Hospital, as I explained just now, we are rebuilding it, and we have a 20-year plan progressively to move piece by piece, and by the time we finish, it will have more capacity, it will have more equipment, it will be modernized, and you will have better service on your doorstep. We are already started because we've got the eye center. You know what it is like. I think many old people have gone for cataract surgery at the eye center. It's fast, it's efficient, it's affordable. We've got a new National Heart Center. We just opened it last year. We are building a new cancer center at SGH. And we are building a new Outram Community Hospital. So just like Tan Tock Seng Hospital, next door you have Ren Se. Just like Changi General Hospital, next door you have St. Andrew's Community Hospital. So that when you're very sick, you go to the hospital. When you're better but you're not ready to go home, you can just move next door to the ComHos. And if in the ComHos you become not so well again, very easy to go back and get a specialist and a doctor from the main hospital. So SGH will also have that. And we've started, and it will be ready in 2020. In other words, we hope by the next general election. So this is what we are doing when it comes to cost of living. I've only talked about housing and healthcare, but in fact on everything else too. I think we've done a lot, and I will save that for speeches later in this week and next week. So in this general election, you are talking about choosing a government, choosing a leadership team, choosing a direction for Singapore in order to make your lives better, in order to make your children's lives better, in order to make Singapore better. These are very difficult things to do, but we can do them provided we have a good team serving Singapore, serving you, serving all of us. And we need your support to do that, because without your support, if you have good men but they can't get elected, or if they are elected and they can't get support for the policies which they want, which they need to do, then I think we have a problem. In Tanjong Pagar, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew never had a problem. Early years, he fought many elections fiercely. There was even one time when he had an issue in the Legislative Assembly and he got challenged. And he told David Marshall, I challenge you. If you will contest me, I will resign. We can have a by-election in Tanjong Pagar. David Marshall foolishly said yes. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew promptly resigned. David Marshall chickened out. But Mr. Lee followed through with the election, and of course, he won that election. So, for many years, he has defended this place until in the end, people were not so keen to come and challenge him. But it didn't mean that they had forgotten about it, because they were waiting to see one day Mr. Lee not there, we will have a chance. Try. So you see, this time, the opposition party didn't lose their nomination papers, unlike last time. But so you see, we are also not stupid, so we made sure that with Mr. Lee in the GRC, we had a good team supporting him and good team ready to take over when he is not there. And here, with me on stage, you see my PAP Tanjong Pagar team. I don't really need to introduce them to you, because if I really needed to, then I think too late already. But I will nevertheless say something about them. Indrani looks after Cairn Hill, but she's also been helping Mr. Lee take care of Tanjong Pagar. Now, let me tell you something about her which she did not know until recently. Indrani's father was a police officer, and he was the CO of Tanjong Pagar Police Station. So, when Indrani was interviewed to be an MP, Mr. Lee was on the panel, looked at her closely and said, "Your father, this name." Indrani says, "Yes, you may know him, sir, because he was Deputy Commissioner of Police." So Mr. Lee said, no, I think it was longer ago than that. Recently, Indrani showed me a photograph of her father with my father, and her father was CO of the Tanjong Pagar Police Station, and my father was visiting the police station. She told me she didn't know that her father was CO of Tanjong Pagar Police Station. So she's a second-generation Tanjong Pagar community service officer. And maybe that's why 佢嘅廣府話好好㗎. As you heard just now, Chan Chun Sing's 廣府話又唔錯. He came in as a general from the army, but if you see him today, you will not guess that he was a general because he's learned a new job. Why did he learn a new job? Because when he came out of the army, he went into politics in a very deep end. No transition, no runway, no understudy period. First day, acting minister, MCDS, Ministry of Community Development and Sports, now MSF. He had to learn. He learned quickly. We restructured, it became MSF. And he made friends on the ground, in the constituency, in Tanjong Pagar, in the unions. So when Lim Swee Say and the S was reaching the age of 62 and the NTUC needed a new Secretary General, the Central Committee discussed it and they wrote to me and they asked me whether I could release Chan Chun Sing to go to NTUC. I said, yes, but you must give me Lim Swee Say back. So we now have a good man in NTUC and a good man now in MOM. And I think that that Chan Chun Sing in NTUC will do good for the workers at the same time as he's serving you. Shilu knows about medicine. You heard him just now explain healthcare to you and why our system is not so bad and how he's able to treat all the patients who come to him. What he didn't tell you is he often takes patients who come to him because they are patients who come from Tanjong Pagar GRC. So he is a bit like Dr. Lily Neo. He is your MP and he's also your doctor. But I think he's got a good heart, and in Queenstown, he's done a good job. A lot of upgrading in Queenstown. We've got a big SIRS project. The Duxton is part of the Queenstown area, and he has to take care of it to make sure that residents are not inconvenienced. In the end, they will have a good project. Then we have Joan Pereira. Let me tell you how we found out about Joan. She works, or used to work in PA. First, she was in charge of SDS. That means getting couples to come together and get married. She was quite good, so we put her upgraded to older people, active aging. Very successful. Now we have more than 500,000 people active aging. So one day I was attending a PA board meeting and she was briefing us, and Lim Boon Heng leaned over and said, "What do you think?" I said, "Not bad." So then we decided to bring her to Tanjong Pagar because Tanjong Pagar has quite a lot of old people, and I think Joan, where's Joan, knows how to look after old people too. Then we have Melvin Yong. He also is a policeman. And he used to be commander of Clementi Police Division. And part of his police division included Tanjong Pagar. So I think he knows a lot about Tanjong Pagar, even the parts which you don't really want to go to. And he's familiar with the ground. I think he will know how to solve your problems. He was helping Miss Penny Low in Punggol North for quite a long time. Penny was hoping that he would be able to succeed her in Punggol North. But I told Penny, sorry, you have groomed him, trained him, prepared him. Now I'm going to take him away. Please give him to Tanjong Pagar. Penny says, okay, but you must send me somebody else. So I did. I think you've got a good man here. Finally, I should say something about Sam Tan. Sam Tan is Radin Mas, but actually working very closely with Tanjong Pagar. And he was mayor of the Central CDC, so he helped us look after all our needs and gave us support. And he is very good with the residents, especially the older residents. He talks their lingo, he knows what they need, and he goes activities with them. And when you listen to him in Parliament, he's very good. The language is never rough, but the points are very sharp. So, because of that, I decided, Sam, you better come in, or I make you an MOS. And I think he has fighting spirit, and he will fight for you. So, we have a good team in Tanjong Pagar. Honest, capable. Most of all, these are people of integrity. You can trust them. Because in politics, it's not just what you say, it's not how good you are at making a speech. Not so hard to stand on a platform like this and look good. Smile, wave a little bit, relax. Anybody can do that. Train you can. But if your heart is wrong, cannot be trained. Nothing you can do unless the heart is put right. And in politics, the heart has to be right. Your character is crucial. You must be honest, you must have integrity, you must want to serve, you must care for people. You cannot afford to be selfish, you cannot afford to cover up and just elak a little bit and taiji, okay, tomorrow I solve tomorrow's problem later on. So therefore, when the PAP looks for candidates, when we interview people, that is what we're looking for. The IQ we can find out, the CV we can read, but the heart we have to find out. How do we find out? We ask other people, not just the superiors, but the friends, not just the friends, but the subordinates. We ask around amongst the public, if you have been around. When we put you on the ground, we take a look, and then we get feedback from the ground. They like this person or they don't like this person. Why? Is it because he's a bit awkward? Well, can teach him to smile a bit more. But if it's because he's not very caring about people, not interested, then we have to think again. And that's what we do. I don't know what the other parties do. Different. Because sometimes we have candidates with flawed characters, people who should never be in politics, but they just sweep this aside. They hope that after some years, slowly it will disappear into the distance, forgotten. Then they say, we look forward. Please don't look behind. You might find my black tail. I think that's very dangerous. We have to look behind. Whose tail is that one? Why is it there? How do you explain? Have you really changed? So that's one thing which can happen. The other thing which can happen is when people do something wrong and they don't fix it, they don't admit it, they pretend it doesn't exist, they explain why it's not a problem. And then sometimes they say, well, I haven't been sent to jail. I've done something wrong, I should have gone to jail. I'm not in jail, so everything is okay. I think if our standard for politics is that the people who are in politics should not be in jail, then I think Singapore is in very serious trouble. We must have high standards for politics. Do you care? Are you doing the right thing? Are you doing your best? Are you serving Singapore well? Not, am I in jail? If not, I'm okay. What kind of people are these? So that is what we have to keep in every election, and we have to remember that. Discuss the issues, important. Discuss the future of the country, that's what this election is about. But also take a look at the people we have, the people they have, and ask yourself, ask them, what sort of people are you? What do you represent? Is your heart really with me? We will do our best in the PAP to give you the best team we can. We will fight for you, we will act for you, we will work for you. And it's a formula which has worked, it's a formula which will continue to work for Singapore, provided you support us. Keep that success, keep that magic, make sure that we are together with you, for Singapore. And many more successful years will come. Thank you very much.